I have had it with British food programs. Almost without exception, they have driven themselves headfirst into the floor. Our star cookery shows have long since drowned in a morass of tweeness. Our cookery competitions are worse. Now MasterChef and the fantastic British Bake Off have become so crushingly insistent you could as well just watch a 15-second loop of someone staring in an oven. And then there's Saturday Kitchen, which, as ever, deserves to be tried as a witch and burned alive in a city square.
But my disappointment with British food shows has led me to discover something quite exciting. On Netflix, nestled among concussed game shows and masturbatory chef profiles, there is a rich vein of Asian food TV. These programs have got their own patterns and rhythms, and ways of celebrating food, and I'm in deep. If you're as bored as me with homegrown UK fare, here are the shows worth checking out. This will take some explaining, but it's worth it. First, I want you to think of Dexter. Now, I want you to imagine that instead of being a serial killer, Dexter's big secret is that he is aroused by puddings. And, instead of murder scenes, there are long sequences where Dexter visits a real-life pudding shop and narrates a long philosophical love letter to its most famous dish. He will wax lyrical about the ingredients and the presentation and the cultural importance of the pudding, while the pudding is presented in the same way that Top Gear presents supercars.
Then he will take a bite and be transported into an intense hallucination, where all his co-workers have giant cherries for heads, or where he sits in a pudding floating through space, or where he embarks on an elaborate La La Land-style dance sequence about chestnuts. It is also worth pointing out that, unless I've got this very wrong, pudding literally makes him ejaculate. Kantaro, the sweet-toothed salaryman, is the weirdest thing that will ever make you hungry.
Again, this one has a slightly bizarre premise. An old Japanese man asks an imaginary samurai to help him navigate his life problems, but if you push that to the side, you are left with a beautiful meditation on the joys of solo dining. In every episode, lead character Kasumi ends up ordering a dish in a different location. As he gently ponders on the meaning of life, we see the dish being lovingly prepared in the kitchen. It's presented to him and he slowly describes what makes it so great. It is joyful, touching and innocent. There are no real stakes to speak of, but that is part of its charm.
My diner is open from midnight to 7 in the morning, murmurs the master, owner of a tiny 12-seat restaurant. Do I even have customers? More than you'd expect. He has a few rules. Nobody can have more than 3 drinks and all fights have to be taken outside, but he will try to cook whatever you ask for. Every episode tells the story of a different customer and how their lives intersect with the dish they order. At the end of each episode, they will often break the fourth wall to offer tips on preparation. That's all there is to it, but Midnight Diner, Tokyo Stories is just as woozy and narcoleptic as you would imagine.
Much more traditional is this not-so-South Korean cookery show, the conceit of which revolves around packing up and shipping a celebrity's refrigerator wholesale to the studio. The hosts then mock the celebrity for the state of the fridge, and the contents are handed to a squadron of chefs, who attempt to create a dish from them in 15 minutes. It's ready, steady, cook, basically, but also aggressively Korean. What are the parameters of chastity? One guest is casually asked in episode 3.